What's going on, family? My name is Stevie T, and today I'm going to be doing a video on courage. So to illustrate courage, I'm going to be looking at three men from the Bible who showed some pretty courageous things. These men are Hananiah, Mishael and Azariah, or you might know them as Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego. So there's a bit of context for the video. The book of Daniel, which is where you find these three men, is written around the time. So Israel basically sinned against God, decided they wanted to live their own way, so God punished them because the Israelites were doing some very bad things, and he punished them by letting the Babylonians walk into their city, take control and basically kill a lot of them, and then use the other ones as slaves and captives. So the book of Daniel starts off with the three men and Daniel being taken out of Judah, and they're taken before the king. And these men were very loyal to God. They decided that they were going to live God's way, and they weren't going to drink alcohol. They weren't going to eat the meats and all of the other rubbish that the other people ate. And they ate water and lettuce, so they basically became vegans for a couple of weeks, which resulted in them looking a lot healthier than everybody else, and they were just better. God blessed them with some knowledge and understanding of literature and language, which the king was very impressed with, and he found them to be 10 times better than his magicians and enchanters when it came to answering the king's questions and solving the king's puzzles. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kick off with Daniel. I'm going to be looking at chapter 3. So the three men have worked their way up into some positions in the king's palace. So the three men were some administrators. I don't really know what they were, but they were fairly high up. The king liked them, so they were pretty cool people. So basically what happened was King Nebuchadnezzar, or King Neb as I'm going to call him because it's a lot easier to say, such a long name. But anyway, this king, he decided that he was going to create a huge golden statue of himself. He was a bit self-righteous, biffed up himself, thought he was a pretty cool guy, basically thought he was a god. I was like, yeah, I'm going to make all of these people, all of my important people, they're going to bow down and they're going to worship this gold statue of me. This is where Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego come into it. So these three men, of course, they're part of the king's sort of squad. They're in his group of important people. So they're brought to stand in front of this gold statue, and what the king orders a decree saying everybody must bow down to this huge gold statue, and if they don't, they're going to be thrown into the fire. So some trumpets playing, some horns, and all these musical instruments that got some pretty cool names, they started playing, and then everybody bowed down in front of this gold statue, and the king was feeling pretty proud of himself. He's like, yeah, look at all these people. And then suddenly this one of his right hand men kind of people, they pointed and went, oh, look at those three Jews over there, they're breaking your law, they're not bowing down to the statue. So Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, like I said, they're loyal to God, and they know that worshipping false gods is naughty. And they also know that the punishment is being thrown into a huge fiery furnace. So they're brought before King Nebuchadnezzar. And one thing, like when I was reading this story, and I was listening to a sermon, and this guy pointed out that Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego were quite far away from the statue. So you got everybody bowing down face first in front of the statue. So this would have meant that when Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego were walking towards the king, they'd have had to have walked through a sea of bottoms to try and get there, because everybody's bums up in the air because they're bowing down towards the statue. So you have these three men, they're trying to walk through a sea of bums trying to get to King Neb because they refused to worship his gold statue. But like, imagine that, like walking through a sea of bottoms trying to get to the king. Like, surely one of the people, when they're face down, they must have trumped. Like, it mustn't have been a nice smell having to walk through all of those bums. But anyway, they get to the king. The king's like, what are you playing at? Is that, I'm going to give you another chance. We're going to play the musical instruments again, and you're going to bow down, you're going to worship the statue of me. Otherwise, like I said, that furnace over there, yeah, you're going to die in there, is what he basically said to them. They turned around to him and said, look, you can play your horns as much as you want, you can play your instruments as much as you want, but we're not going to bow down in front of your statue. We worship God, and we worship God alone. Basically, your gold statue, it's nothing, mate. We don't care. We're not going to bow down to it. And we know that no matter what you do to us, our God will save us and he will deliver us. So King Nebuchadnezzar, enraged and with all of his anger, basically ordered the furnace to be turned up 7 times hotter than normal. Then he got some of the strongest men he could find, and he told them he bound up the Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, tied them up with ropes, and had some really strong men go and throw them into the fire. But as these really strong men threw them into the fire, they were killed themselves. So the guards, these really hench guys throwing the bodies into the fire, ended up being burned up themselves. That's how hot it was. They didn't even walk into the furnace. They were stood outside, probably at a distance, trying to throw these men in, and they were killed by the flames and the heat themselves. So this is some pretty hot fire. This isn't like your average living room little fireplace. This is some big burning thing that's death. And so these 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, showed great courage. They said, we're not going to bow down to you, King Neb. We only worship God. They were thrown into the furnace. But that's not the end of the story. No, no, no. Of course, God delivers them. So when they're thrown into the furnace, the guards are killed. But when they're chucked in, the ropes are scorched and they fall off their hands and they stand up. And then suddenly another man appears inside the furnace. Like King Nebuchadnezzar's looking at them, waiting for them to burn up and for them to be screaming. He doesn't hear anything, looks over, sees 4 men walking around. The Bible literally says that after they were thrown into the furnace, they started walking around. So King Nebuchadnezzar's like, wait, didn't I throw 3 of these guys into the fire? Why is there now 4 of them? And why are they walking around? Shouldn't they be dead by now? Like the guards are dead, why aren't they dead? And so basically what happened is God delivered them. He saved them. He sent an angel to go and walk in the fire with them. Like, if that was me and I'd just been thrown into a furnace, my first reaction isn't just to start walking laps and start walking around and having a chat with my mates. I'd be pretty stunned. I'd be like frozen, like, what's going on here? But no, they just casually chilled with this angel just walking around this furnace. Like, so King Nebuchadnezzar goes up near the furnace as close as he can get without getting burned himself and shouts in, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, surely your God is the only God, come out. And these guys casually walk out of the fire. Don't know whether you've ever touched fire before, but it hurts. These guys, they're unstoppable. God's got them. So not one single inch of them was singed. Not the beards, their hair, their clothes, nothing. They were perfectly fine, no scars. It was just absolutely incredible. They just waltzed out of there, and you got King Neb stood there looking completely shocked. He's not a clue what's going on here. He's just baffled. He's just like, mate, surely your God is the true God. And if anyone has any problems with your God, then let him punish them. Because your God clearly is pretty amazing if he's just done this incredible thing. So yeah, these guys showed absolutely incredible courage. They said they weren't going to bow down and worship an idol. Instead, they chose death. And through choosing that burning to death, they ended up being redeemed and delivered. And God pulled them out of there. And it was absolutely incredible. They then even got a promotion by King Neb. So it pays. If anyone says they're going to throw you into a fire, then go for it, because you might get promoted. That's not the message I want to portray here. What I want to portray is, guys, there are people all over the world today who are Christians and who are being killed for their faith. They're being beaten, raped, murdered, all because they believe in God. And I wanted to do a video just to say, like, trust in God. Don't lose your faith, and he will deliver you. Whether he delivers you through life or through death, he will never leave you. He'll send, whether you see the angel or not, he'll send an angel to go and be with you every step of the way. These 3 men, Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego, showed great courage. They stood up for what they believed. They didn't back down. It paid off. It's an absolutely incredible story, one of my favourite Bible stories. So yeah, I thought I'd share it with you guys. So if you're wondering why I've changed clothes towards the end, basically the footage that I recorded originally sadly was pretty poor quality. I don't know what went wrong with it, so I've re-recorded it. That's why I've got changed, because it's a different day. And there's been a lack of videos recently because I've literally just either been busy, I didn't really know what to record, and then I had the footage going and messing up. So hopefully we'll get back into the swing of things and we'll get more videos out. So guys, hope you've all enjoyed my fantastic storytelling skills. If you want more videos like this, then let me know in the comment section any stories you'd like me to cover, and any themes, anything like that, that'd be fantastic. I'm hopefully going to do some sketches, maybe something like that in the near future, try and spice it up a bit so it's looking pretty decent. Alright guys, hope you all have a wonderful and amazing week. I've been Stevie T. Don't forget to be real, be true, God bless, and I shall catch you on a bizzle. See you in a bit.